strange to go an entire week without a reception in the previous game?
Yeah. Look, it's I've had a lot of receptions. It's been you never want to have too many weeks of those, but it's great to be 11-1, and I think if anybody understands that and appreciates that, it's myself, and we got a lot of weapons and different ways of attacking games, and I've said all along, different guys get opportunities, and that's the way it goes. So, Thursday night wasn't our best football offensively, but to be able to find a way to win and then move forward, I think that's what this team's done great all year.
You don't whisper in Linehan's ear at the start of the fourth quarter, hey.
No, I don't. Coach Linehan and I have a great relationship. I've really enjoyed the last almost 3 years, and he I know he has a lot of confidence in me because I've seen him call it a lot. So he just gets back to it, and you always talk, and he's always communicating with us after the game, and have good visits. But I would never reference anything like that. Just it happened in the course of the game, and I know I'm a big part of this offense, and different receivers and tight ends and runners go through it at different times, and that was just one of those games.
Wade, how much has grown up and become a great player since you got here?
I think just the maturity and the development of him is it's really remarkable when you look at it. To think what kind of player he was as a rookie, and he always had a rare ability. His ability to high point the ball and to go get it when it's in the air is, I'd put it against anybody in this league. But just the route and how precise he's gotten with his routes, the depth, communication, and just the maturity level of just what we were talking about. When the ball doesn't come to you early, or you go and you have those games, or you have a couple stretches, he understands how to handle that. I think being a good teammate and seeing that is one of those things that he does. He loves to play, compete, and do it with his teammates, and that motivates everybody in this locker room. And I think he's playing at a really, really high level, as good as I've seen him when you really watch it and evaluate the tape and the things that he's been able to do in the route running. He's playing at a high, high level, probably the highest I've seen him play at, and that just goes to the hard work that he's doing and all the extra stuff that he's doing with his body to get himself in a position to play week in and week out.
Jason, how valuable was a long weekend at this point in the season?
Yeah, long weekend felt good. 3 games in 12 days, to be able to put your feet up and relax a little bit, it felt good. But back to work. I think the best thing this team's done is our edge, and I don't know where all that comes from. Maybe it's a little bit of the 4-12 pissed off mentality, but this team has edge, and to be able to get through the weekend and win 3 of those games and get some rest and now go back at it. It's been a good work week so far. We know we're going to have a heck of a challenge come Sunday night.
Jason, talking to the younger guys yesterday, they said they're not really thinking about trying to capture the division Sunday. It's more about just winning that football game. Do you still get impressed by the mindset of these rookies and how they've been approaching the game?
Well, I don't really look at them as rookies anymore. They've the lights have been bright for quite some time for them, and they just continue to answer the bell, and they understand that. They understand that these are the bright lights, and the thing I respect about them the most is they come to work. They're great teammates. They prepare, and then they've played exceptionally well through the first part of the season here, and now going into the final stretch. So I think the one thing they do is just continue to go to the next game and understand the challenge within that. And as young players, really as any type of player, when you can handle that and have that mentality and maturity, I think it says a lot about your football team, and those rookies have shown that.
This is all they've known, those rookies, 11-1. You ever find yourself wanting to tell them that it might not always be that rosy in the NFL?
Well, I think just it's a unique opportunity. If I felt there was something that I needed to address with that, I would. But go watch a practice. The communication, the way they work, the way they prepare in meetings. They love football. I've told you guys that before, and they understand that, and that's one of the great things that comes with this. And so, they've had adversity at different times, and ultimately it's a testament to them, the work they've done, that they can overcome it the way they have. And I don't think that's a situation. It's good that they're playing that way. It's good to have success. They shouldn't have to apologize for that or feel that they need to do that. They played really well, and certainly they're going to need to do that for our football team, as we all are, moving down the stretch. Beast is a great locker mate. I think my favorite thing about him is he's one of the realest guys I've ever met. I mean, you know, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and just his mentality that he goes out there. I mean, he believes. You talk about edge. He believes he can beat anybody one-on-one, and he's a great worker. You know, and just to see his body and the little guy that he is, but the mentality that he plays with, I think it motivates everybody in this locker room to see how much success he's having this year.
You haven't had Hannah all season, and now you're Will Swain. How has that impacted? You guys like to run a lot of two-time sets. How have you adapted to that, and have you had to do that a little bit less than you had going into this because of those losses?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a transition with that, you know, and those two tight end sets have been a big part of what we've done, and coaches have done a good job of kind of changing it up and moving some things around with our formations and different things that we do with our sets. But you know, Gavin's continued to improve and playing well, and I think he understands what's being asked of him. And you know, he's in his 4th year. He's played good football for us, and so anytime you have those situations come up, you just have to continue to adjust and move forward. And we've done some stuff with Joe now playing tight end and getting that jumbo package, and so just we're doing a good job of different looks. You know, a lot of similar stuff and showing it a different way, and that's going to be a big package for us moving forward, the two tight end sets.
Just when you go back to Cole's rookie year when he left training camp for a couple of days, were you kind of like, what's this undrafted guy leaving for? Or what? Or were you trying to like, man, this guy was a guy I saw a future with?
Well, I was surprised he quit. You know, I mean, you guys know me well enough to know that wasn't probably well received by myself and a lot of other guys. But you know, I'll never forget, they kind of gave him the slow clap when he came back in, you know, from the few days that he departed for. But, I mean, since that point, I mean, I think he's gone to work, and he's smart, he's got good instincts, he's tough, he's got a lot of confidence. But it's good to see him having this type of year because, you know, I think we've all known for a long time he's been a tough matchup and just continues to play well for us.
Jason, being right next to him, how often and in what ways do you see that chip that you mentioned?
Oh, I mean, he's got a great sense of humor from the standpoint. He's always got little subtle jokes that he talks about. And you know, he's a young father, and so we're both kind of in that grind of young children, and so we're always continuing to joke about that. But I think just his edge, I mean, if he has a mistake on the field, he's asking, you know, hey, did you see that route? What did you think of that? You know, well, you're fine. I mean, it was a good route, you know. But I think, as all great athletes do, I mean, there's this perfectionist that they're looking for. You know, they want to be a certain way, and you know, Cole doesn't always. That's not the way, you know, his personality may be perceived, but that's who he is. And I think one of the things I've enjoyed over the last few years is just that relationship of being competitive and really kind of chasing that greatness. And he's a great example for this team.
Jason, obviously, so many of these seasons, teams falling just short of the playoffs. Take even a moment this week to appreciate what this squad has done, clinching a playoff berth the first week of December.
Yeah, certainly you appreciate where you're at, and it's not easy to get to this point. But again, I think moving forward, our success comes with that edge, the way we play. And so while you acknowledge it and you appreciate the position you're in, you know, this momentum that we're playing with, it's a great thing. And but now we got to move forward, and I think that's the best thing our team's done this entire year. And down the stretch, it's going to be even more important.
Can you go ahead and declare you will kick it?
Go ahead.
Mine's a smart
Is there anything about motivational, seriously, about, okay, boys, if we win this, we can win the division?
Well, I think that's the next step. You know, I mean, we come up with goals and talk through things. It starts with that. You know, you want to win the division. And so I think it's important because for what it is, it's the next opportunity for us and what we're trying to build and play for here down the stretch. So it is important to have that opportunity and, you know, good division opponent. You know, there's been a lot of battles here for quite some time, you know. I think anybody's sharing Christmas cards here between these two, but it's a great opportunity to have this right in front of us, and I think our message is just keep moving forward. Don't listen to all this other talk that's kind of going on. Coach Garrett's kind of talked about it, and I think for all of us, you know, it's just about this next game, you know, all the other stuff that comes with it. I think anybody that's wanting to chase greatness like this, you can't even let that enter your mind.
Can you declare right now you'll catch a pass in the next 130 games?
Well, I sure as hell hope so. I think we can. That'd be fair to say, yeah, we will.
Do you have 130 more games in you?
Come on, Todd. Yeah, probably not. But you never know.
Do you literally have 100?
Yeah, that's right.
Jason, on Dez, career-wise, he's starting to show up with Michael. Maves is next on the touchdown list. Do you think he's earned the right to be in that echelon of Cowboys receivers?
Well, I do, and the reason why I say it is I really think we're seeing him peak in his own, and I mean, those are some great receivers that you think about, and competitive, big-time catches, and they're winners. I mean, they're champions, and that's the ultimate goal. And I think Dez's understanding of that. I think that's really when it's came into its own in the last couple of years. Of he is one hell of a teammate, and he understands that team success is great for everyone. And so I think it is fair. I think he's a dynamic player. There's a lot of weapons around him. I mean, our offense is we're going to run the football, and but that. I think what you've seen in the last few weeks, the way he's playing, the level, and the different opportunities he has in his route tree, shows what kind of playmaker he is. And so I do think it's fair, although I know that those are some great players, not only for this organization, but really, we're talking about Hall of Fame guys. And so I think Dez is really hitting his peak right now with the way he's playing and the maturity and who he is as a person. No, I really didn't. I think we all go through different phases of our career, and for him, I think it was the bright lights were on with some of those things that came up, but I think a lot of that was just in his competitive mentality, and so you always knew he had ability, and he was willing to learn and improve, and he wasn't afraid to work. And so those were all great qualities to say, okay, some things you want to tweak and maybe try to help out and assist in different ways, but those things you never question. And for me, as a veteran player, and I'm sure for coaches and for management, you always look at it and say, hey, the guy's competitive, he's super talented, and he wants to work. We can figure it out. And I think the success you're seeing now is a byproduct of all the work that he's done along the way, and he made others around him better.
You guys recreated the end of the game scenario the week after the Giants game, that final drive. That type of repetition, how big has that been for you guys, the way you kind of work those situations week after week, and it's benefited you in other late game situations?
Yeah, it doesn't always work out perfect, but I think the ability to evaluate it and look at it and then go practice it again has been one of the best things we've done as a football team. We've done it in training camp, we talked about it. And over the years, it's not always perfect. It doesn't always work out the way you want to. But I think our ability to be accountable and reflect and talk it through as a football team, not just that situation, but a lot of the situations that have came up, has allowed us or gave us an opportunity to have confidence in these situations.